You've stopped into another episode of Dad Crossing where myself, Nick, and my co-host Sean will have real, honest chats about the highs and lows of dad life. We'll laugh together at the craziness of parenting and the silliness of our kiddos, and we'll support each other through the challenges and tough decisions of fatherhood. Whether you're a seasoned granddad or a dad-to-be, we promise laughs, relatable, and sometimes raw talk, and expert help to tackle the tough issues. Not from Sean and me, but from the amazing guests we'll have on the show. So let's be dads crossing through life together.
On Monday, we spoke about what we were talking about for today's episode. And if you listen on the regular, last week when we had our really long episode, we kind of touched on um like how you ended up in the position that you ended up in now in terms of work, and how it isn't always a linear path and you can change different directions. And I think all this came off the back of Jaya coming back from university because she was struggling down there on her own and feeling very isolated, but not wanting her to stray away from getting a qualification. But at the same time, if doing her third year doesn't sit right with her at the time, she can take a year and do some stuff. But she needs to find a job, preferably one that might help use her skills and qualification. But what she gets from her qualification can be transferable, because all skills and knowledge and understanding is always transferable to different applications. So this week we are going to talk about the importance of finding your place in terms of what you want to do for kids. And they kind of do have to work. I see it because Logan's like, oh, I'll just be a YouTube star and make loads of money like Mr. Beast. And it's like, yes, if only it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Becca wants to puke every time one of her kids say that. She gets so pissed.
I can imagine. It's hard. I mean, I didn't want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was at school. I was a little crappy pop punk skater boy at school that just wanted to shred around on his skateboard all the time. I didn't want to work. I had no intention of doing anything of what I'm doing now, but I had interests which were transferable. So my parents pointed me in the right direction, and off I went. I was into the electrical generation industry. So I don't know where my kids are going to find themselves. I have no idea. I think my parents did a really good thing getting me going in that direction. So it's interesting. Like, Logan has aspirations to working in McDonald's for free chicken nuggets.
Yeah. I think I talked about this last week. Noah wants to be a shopper at Walmart and deliver groceries. Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
Well, if that's what you do out there, people, I love you. I get it delivered to me. Okay. Love it.
There's a need for those things, though. That's the thing. There's always a need until drones and automated delivery buses and trucks coming in. Right. I mean, you alluded to Ariel wanting to do something to help animals.
Yeah. Whatever she does can't involve blood, though, because she hates blood. So.
And then swapped to wanting to bake things and be a baker, but not run the bakery.
Yeah.
Emily's she's wanted to be an engineer. She's wanted to be an environmental scientist. Then she's wants to design clothes for plays and stuff like that. So they have so many fun ideas. It's which ones can you help make a reality, and which ones can, as an adult, you kind of look around and where you live and be like, ain't going to be much good for you here. So
yeah, I that's how I view my job as dad, is to pour into whatever the thing is that they currently love. They don't have to I'm not going to tell them they have to be with it for the rest of their life or whatever. Like soccer. Ariel right now loves soccer. Has now for quite a few years. but it doesn't mean she's gonna be a soccer star. It's like saying you're gonna grow up and be a YouTuber. I don't know. Being a soccer star is pretty dang tough. Um, but I'm gonna pour into her so that she understands that sport as best as possible, and so that at the very least she, like you were talking about, has transferable skills, right? Like so that she understands what team loyalty means, and so that she understands how to listen to a coach. There's a ton of million things that you can gain out of playing soccer at the level she does. That doesn't mean she's going to be a soccer star. Maybe she will be. Cool, that'd be great. I'd love to go to all of her soccer games. Um, but maybe she won't. But she also, like I said, she also wants to be a baker, right? So what did Ariel and I do on Monday? We made cupcakes from scratch. Have I ever made cupcakes from scratch? Should my physique make cupcakes from scratch? No, it shouldn't. I have no willpower with cupcakes from scratch.
How much of the bowl did you lick afterwards?
I did pretty. I had
I know
two.
you did.
I had two, and I it was so. And we made icing. The icing was, the cupcakes were great. The icing was not. I had to call mom. I had to call mom and be like, Mom, how do I save this icing? Here's what it is. She's like, oh, honey, just throw like a half stick of butter in there and more powdered sugar. And I was like, yeah, it's the answer to all questions in life. There you go. Half stick of
Sugar and
butter,
butter,
more
baby.
powdered sugar. There you go. And of course, she was right. So we started this little Ariel's baking book for her. So I mean, I guess that's like my thing. Like, Noah's into bowling. I'm trying to, get him to a point where it's like, hey, if you want to be a better bowler, you need to start lifting and really feel, and so that you can like better control that ball, so that a 11-pound ball won't feel so heavy to you, and then it'll be easier to control. And so, yeah, I guess that's where I'm at. And do I want to know what they're gonna do? Oh heck yeah, I do. I can't. I mean, I think it'll be amazing to see where they go. Um, my mother would have probably never thought in a million years I would be here, because I never thought in a million years that I would be doing the thing that I'm doing. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think I would be at the in the position that I'm in now.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're talking, when I was 13, I had two paper rounds. Not sorry, not 13. Oh yeah, sorry, 13. I had two paper rounds. I had one on the morning, one on an evening, and I did those every day, Monday to Sunday, for 3 years. That was it. That was my job. I was a paper boy for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then when you hit 16, obviously you can't be a paper boy because insurance then starts kicking in, because they need to have
Oh, I didn't know that.
insurance for young adults.
Yeah.
Basically, child slave labor is fine.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow.
Um, so I picked up a job at our local mushroom farm because I was coming towards the end of school. Didn't know what I was going to do in college. When worked in a mushroom farm, sat on a trolley, up and down the aisles, picking mushrooms.
Was that it?
For
Was that a poopy job?
There was a booby job. That was a chicken poopy job.
I'm sorry. I actually didn't know if it was. I was somewhat wondering, because
No.
that's what I always hear. Is that
Yeah, it's grown on top of like fertilizer rich soil
okay?
and a layer of chicken poo.
What's the thing? You just want to be what is that? Like, don't be a mushroom like in the dark and
Be a
full of
fun
poop.
guy.
Yeah, don't be a mushroom in the dark and full of poop, or something like that. I can't remember what the statement goes.
And I did that for a few weeks.
Oh, okay, that didn't last long. Okay.
Well, I got made redundant. I started in the December of my 16th birthday, so 86. So I can't do the maths. I was just finishing towards the end of high school, so it'll have been like 2002 when I turned 16. And then it finished roughly in the August of 2003 as I left high school, and they were shutting the mushroom farm down, so they made everybody redundant.
Oh,
So I worked every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, like 7 till 7. So like my first like real 12-hour full day kind of job. And it wasn't too bad. I was paid 200 pound ish a weekend.
Okay, that's nice.
for each day. With bonuses, if I picked like 100 punnets of mushrooms, I'd get like an extra £10 on top of my wage every time.
Sure.
Um, met some interesting characters,
Yeah, you
learn
did.
a few interesting words in certain languages. And I also learned that I could carve tiny little figures out of the bad mushrooms that I used to then put on my cat as I was going around.
Would they last
Because,
very long before they would?
no.
No, okay, I didn't think so. I just thought maybe. I would like to point out, Sean, before just to just sit here for a second. You worked at a mushroom factory that you shut down, and you worked at a power plant that you shut down. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You just.
I'm currently in the position of possibly being made redundant again. So who knows?
You're just like shutting stuff down as you get hired.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that I did work at that power station for 15, nearly 16 years, and
You
it had
did.
been open 75 years. So it wasn't just me.
So you got there, and then all of a sudden they're like, shut her
Yeah, and it
down.
all went crap. So yeah, and then
No, I'm just kidding.
that finished, and I can kind of remember not knowing what I wanted to do at around the time that we did all the work experience stuff. Like work experience over here is where they send the kids off to kind of get the aspiration of what it's like in the real world. Go
Sure.
find,
Yep.
if you enjoy doing this thing. So most people went to like um accountants and like officey kind of jobs and stuff like that, or worked behind the scenes in supermarkets, kind of seeing all that kind of stuff. They couldn't really send kids somewhere they were going to get hurt.
Sure.
Apart from me, they sent me to the power station.
Yeah. For you.
Yeah, let's see if you come back from that. And at the time, like I said, alluded, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just used to rip around on a skateboard, like delivering papers and picking mushrooms. I was basically Mario, but not being a plumber. Um, and my parents saw. Well, I went and did this 2 weeks at like 15 years old at the power station. And I came away from that, and all jokes aside, the guys there that I did my work experience with, I then went back and actually worked with them, and I still speak to some of them now as a nearly 40-year-old. So I made some lasting like colleagues and friends to speak to, but it also opened my eyes to like thinking that work isn't just turning up, doing the work, going home, and repeat. It wasn't dull. I always had in the back of my mind that it was just going to be this dull experience having to work for money all the time. It wasn't. It was great. Everything was interesting. The people I worked with were interested, and then just the atmosphere that I was in was also interesting. It really like opened my eyes. So I ended up going back to school, and I stopped being a little annoyance. Is probably the most politest way I
Sure.
can say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really knuckled down. And I spun all my grades around. I actually left with everything above a C. So, and prior to that, everything was kind of like I was going to get D's and E's. I was
Sure.
going to be, and that wasn't because I couldn't do it. It's just I just didn't want to. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I kind of just plateaued. But yeah, I left high school with better grades. Did my apprenticeship there for 4 years, and then worked as a fitter in there for 4 years. And then I went and moved into operations, and that's kind of like where I have stayed within operations, but moved within different levels of it. And I love it. I absolutely, I can genuinely say I enjoy going to work because I love my job.
Mm-hmm.
I like that every day is a different challenge. I like the people that I work with. Even now that I'm in a different team and in a different power station, it's just good fun. It allows for me to do things at my own pace for like 80% of the job. And then sometimes there's stuff that I have to kind of move quickly because things are going wrong. But
Yeah.
it's a great atmosphere to work at, and that's what I want for each one of the kids. I want them to find something that they enjoy doing, that they can honestly say they like turning up to their job to do it because they're passionate about what that job does and provides. So.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, not that I want to end this, episode after 14 minutes. But yeah, I think you're right. That's what it's all about. Like, because I have no issues going to work. I'm fine to be at the office doing the thing. I love what I do. I would have never, if I was 18 and you would have told me I would be an executive director of a nonprofit that builds houses, I would have said you're an idiot and that there's no way that anybody ever would give me that job. And that if I had it, there's no way I'd be successful. So yeah, but that's I think you're right, Sean. That's what you want. You want your kids to at least be able to make a wage that lets them live comfortably with their family and such, and that when they go to work, they don't want to just stab their eyes out. It's really what you're going for here. I mean, that's the whole. That's the whole. I mean, and I don't know if I told you this or if I was talking on the podcast but that was the start of my journey. Was like, there's just a ton of factories around us, right? And so it's like, I'd look at the factory people, and they just look super not happy, and not that you can't be, but it just wasn't my thing. And I look, and it was like, okay, they're doing the same thing in the same spot, and I was like, man, I just would not be super happy if I did that. Some people love it. Some people absolutely love doing that work, doing that one thing, and they're super amazing at it, and that's exactly what they want to do. I'm on a podcast because I love to talk and do my thing and talk to people and learn stories and kind of somewhat goof off. I'm not going to lie. And so when I was a kid, I was like, dang, I would just go to church and I'd look at the youth pastor and I'd be like, that guy gets paid to goof off and play with kids. I mean, this is a great life. Well, I need to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do what he's doing. Now, there was more to it than that. Didn't realize that at the time. But and that was kind of the start of the thing. And then when I got done with that, when I went to college, I became a youth pastor. I did youth pastoring for like 3 years. And I was like, I don't really know if this is for me. I think I want to be in social service. But then nobody wanted to hire me because I didn't have a social service degree. I had an educational ministries degree. So everybody was just kind of like, nope, not you. But then I found Salvation Army, who was like, oh, you're in ministry. That's great. We don't care that you have a social service degree. We just like that you had a ministry degree. So they hired me, and then from there, really, my degree was only just to get. If they wouldn't have hired me if I didn't have a degree, even though my degree had nothing to do with social service. So, but it got me in the door. So I got me in the door as a part-time case manager, case worker, and then I worked my way up to a case manager, and then the social services director, and I was that for like 5 years, and then Habitat came along and was like, we're looking for an executive director. And I was like, build houses? Let's do it. I don't know anything about building houses. That sounds like fun.
That's brilliant. Let's build a... Why? You can't get that wrong. Let's do it.
It was just like the stupidest thing. It was only a God thing. And I mean, this was not like, I wasn't in my 20s. I was not in my 20s, like, just like, whatever, life doesn't matter. No, we had a kid. We were about to have another kid. And I looked at my wife having a job for 10 years that I pretty much could have walked in my boss's office and crapped on the desk, and he'd be like, don't do that next time, Nick, but please don't leave us. Thank you so much. Like, I mean, I had that kind of currency at that job. I was fine. I wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, you know what I want to do? I'll go over to Habitat and build houses, even though I'm not entirely certain how to do that. And they just told me that they have to build 2 this year, and they have a budget. They have a bank account of about $60,000. But this is gonna work, Beck. Trust me. And God bless her. She trusted me, and it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
work.
that was a leap.
Yeah, it was a big leap. So yeah, like, I mean, you have no idea where your kids are gonna go and how they're gonna get there. Like, it's just, it's absolutely nuts. But I really felt in my heart. Well, one, Beck knew that I was not happy where I was anymore. I loved Salvation Army for the longest time. I'd grown way past that position, and my only other option in that job was to basically go to Chicago and get credentialed as an officer, at which point they would tell me and my family where they wanted me to station at. and then I would have to move somewhere in the country to that place. That was obviously not an option. I had just gotten married and had a kid, and all of our family was right here. That was not going to be a thing. So I was kind of stuck where I was doing this thing, even though I had like just by experience and like knowledge way outgrowing this position. And so she knew that I was not super happy there. And so I think she was like, whatever, go do something. At this point, I think she was kind of in the point of like, I don't care if you want to just like bag groceries as long as you're happier than you are right now. I don't really care. So yeah.
Which so back in that scenario becomes what we need to be as parents for as kids. She was like, we've said this to Jay, like we fully support whatever decision she wants to do as long as she's happy. So coming
Yeah.
home is making her happy. We're hoping that she will then stick out the rest of her degree, because having it, like you've just said, having a degree is better than not having one
Yeah.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just better. And with hers being in criminology, there's all sorts of caveats that come with that with the psychology and stuff and safeguarding. So she can do a lot of stuff in terms of child and young adult safeguarding, go in that direction. But her actual dad, because I talk about her like she's my daughter, she is my daughter, but she's not biologically mine. But we went and had a sit down conversation at her biological dad's house with her stepmom, and he said something that was great, and like hats off to him for this, is we don't care what she does when she comes back as long as she's happy. She could go and be a crossing guard
Yeah.
for all we care, as long as like she gives it her all and she's super happy about it, and that's fine. We don't mind. We At this point we want her to get a lot back for herself, a bit like how Beck would want you to be happier and you doing something that you enjoy. And then she can push from there. She can go and do and try different things. So, but
Yeah.
she needs to, at nearly 20, she needs to be able to fund her way through things. We can't fund another adult, basically. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. And I'm hoping that will then rub off on Emily a little bit, because with Emily being 14, for me, she could be working somewhere. She could be working in the library. She could be doing something.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I kind of want her to get into that early, so then she's in the routine of going to somewhere and having to interact with people, because it's done a lot for Jaya. Like her self confidence is a lot bigger because she's been a waitress. Because that's kind of, you either be a waitress or some kind of retail store person in this area, unless you want to go and work in a power station or be a carer for those that need caring.
Sure.
Um, so I kind of want Emily to get used to that, having to go in somewhere, uh, dressing and representing smart, but also having to interact with people. So she gets used to having different conversations with different types of people, because you're going to come across people that you get on with great. You're going to come across people that you don't get on with at all, that you just cannot, for whatever love and money, you have no idea why you don't like that person, but you don't like them and you can't get on with them. And yeah, there's an element of, you pick those kind of skills up in school, but then you become comfortable with the group of friends that you are with, and you can kind of, gravitate to them all the time. Where people you work with are always going to be the people that you work with. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. As long as you're just trying to find. So like if Noah was like, I don't really know what I want to do, you're right. As long as he somehow was earning money to say, as you say, to fund his way and whatever that is, then you know that's fine with me. There's a lot of ways you can make it. You can make your way. Would I try to point him in a way that I think would be more lucrative for him or more fulfilling for him? Probably the better word. Um, yeah, I probably would like. But you see so often people are like, parents are like, well, you should go do this thing because it'll make you a lot of money, or this job or whatever. And it's like, well, geez, if that's not that kid's thing, then it's never going to really work, or it's going to work and they're going to be super successful and amazingly rich, and they're going to hate their life. So that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and you hear stories about that all the time where people are just like, yeah, I quit my job because I realized I quit my 6-figure job because I realized this was not my gig. And I was not a happy person. So,
No.
yeah.
No, and I've had periods where I've worked where I haven't been happy. When I first went from Eggborough to Drax, I came off shifts. I came away from operations, and I went into a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday office environment where I was coming in at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was sat at a desk at an office, like in a screen, and that was it. I was basically walking around site, checking the numbers on cables and
Hmm.
filling out spreadsheets of where these cables were and where these numbers were and what color they were. And at the end of it was a foot in the door to get into the power station. Was I happy in it? No, I hated it. That was the worst 12 months of my working life ever. Not that I didn't like the people that I was with, because I made a really good friend called Adam, and two Marks that I got on with really well. I still I'm still in touch with Adam, and I still go and see both Marks when I'm in at work anyway. Um, but I couldn't stand the Monday to Friday 9 to 5 in an office, sat behind a screen, like kind of stuck. I it, I was miserable. Like Logan was still really young. Um, Lindsay was off work because she was still on maternity and doing a whole lot of bits and pieces in terms of taking the route that she's now on, because she's changed her job role completely. In the period of time that Logan was born to being 3 years old, Lindsay went from being the manager of a care home for young adults to what she's doing now in schools. So, but that came with a lot of transferable skills and knowledge that she can then take to working with children with special educational needs. So there was a good connection there. But yeah, for 12 months, I was miserable. It was awful. I hate it. And then an opportunity got back to go back into operations at Drax, which was back onto shifts, which I absolutely love. Some people hate working nights and days, 12-hour shifts and stuff. But apart from once every 4 weeks where I work the 72-hour week that I work, I only do 2 shifts a week. It's great.
Hmm.
And even then, sometimes I don't even have to do the 2 shifts a week because of working time directive. I have extra days off every now and then, so I can end up with a week off for nothing. Um,
Yeah.
I get to go places and do stuff when there isn't as many people, because Monday to Friday, everybody else is usually at work, and I can go shopping. I can go for like really nice scenic walks, and it's not crowded everywhere with loads of different people. And I enjoy it. The gym's never busy during the day.
I like all these positives. I never thought about these.
So like I find it all really rewarding that way. Does going to work for 12 hours and sometimes not seeing daylight, especially in the winter period where I go to work and it's dark, I come home and it's dark, and I haven't really seen much of the outside world because power stations tend to be really inside, apart from a few bits. Yeah, but it's worth it. It pays well. It's providing my family with all the comforts and things that they want, and it's using all the skills and knowledge and understanding that I've learned over the 22 years that I've been in the industry. So
Hmm. Yeah, I thought you had two cool things. One, um, we want kids to love their jobs. That's 100% true. To be fulfilled in what they do. But I thought the part you made of like, hey, I had to go through a season where I wasn't super happy so that I could get to a continual season where I knew I would be. And so it's like I think
yeah,
that's an important thing to tell kids that your kids that might actually, that might be a thing you have to do. Pay
yeah.
your dues and this, yeah. Yeah. Um
Take a position in the company that you want to work for that's not necessarily the position that you want, and get a name for yourself, and make sure that you become. As much as I was miserable and I hated the job, I was brilliant at it and I was really good. And I was a very good team player in that aspect, and it opened up that I could go and speak to different people within operations and liaise with them, and in different safety meetings and things like that, I was bringing up points and making, asking questions. So my face and my name was kind of known already within the operational circles. So then when I did go for an interview and put my name forward for it, they kind of recognize the name, recognize the face, and recognize the my work ethic. So
Yeah. Yep. And the other piece is you are not always going to love everybody you work with that you said. Um and
yeah,
I see in this generation a lot of times I'll hear people say, "Well, I didn't like the people I worked with, so I quit." And it's like, man, like you're never going to like everybody you work with. It's just not going to happen. Maybe it will. Maybe you can find it. But just like you got to learn to work with that one person that you may not super love to work with,
yeah,
because otherwise you're just always going to be flip-flopping jobs that maybe you shouldn't, just because you didn't like that one guy or that one girl or whatever. And so I think those are two pieces that we try to instill in our kiddos. So it's just like,
yeah. And that's and having to push yourself into being with those people is where, like, why I want Emily to be maybe having a little bit of a job, even if it's like part-time weekend work. Like she works on a Saturday in a store somewhere. Because it teaches them, if she can learn a bit of conflict resolution at an early age, you have more skills and ability when she's older, where she's not going to be as uncomfortable and as worried in that scenario.
mm-hmm.
Because, like you say, you have to learn how to get on with these people. And sometimes the person that you might not get on with is one of those that shouts the loudest and to be heard the most. And if they don't get heard or seen, they shout louder, and it becomes obnoxious and awful. And then some people just, for whatever reason, you just cannot find a way to talk to them. You don't have any shared interests or anything like that. But it doesn't mean that you don't like them and they don't like you. They equally might not want to tolerate you as much as you don't want to tolerate them, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
you're both there. You both serve a purpose in the company and the job. So you just crack on and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Luckily, in my industry, we're all a little bit nuts and usually all like the same things. So I'm quite okay. So
That's cool. It's always good to have friends who are nuts.
yep.
So yeah, I mean, I got started detasseling corn. That was my first job ever. I did that for 2 years in the summer. So that was fun. And then I worked at Subway for like 3 years.
As a sandwich
Uh-huh.
artist,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I like that
Enjoyed
title.
that. Yeah.
It's a good title.
I enjoyed that. I think Subway was like one of the first, maybe not the first, but like one of the first to give their employees like a fancy title. You know what I mean? Um, what does Starbucks call them? They're not barista. I mean, they
Baristas.
are baristas, but I thought they had like a name for them. Like, it's not coming to me.
I
Anyways,
don't know.
so
But yeah.
but yeah, to give their so did that, and so yeah, just going out, and I think you're right about the conflict resolution, just learning how to relate to people, talk to people, not even like combative people, just normal regular people, just learning to have a conversation about like, what would you like on your sub, let me walk you through this process, like learning those kind of things and having a conversation and relating to the person on the other side of the glass. Like Subway was a lot for me in learning how to communicate to people and like how to build, like, it's dumb, but it's also like very much like, how do you build this sub? Some people would come in and they know exactly what they want because they've been there like 17 bazillion times. Some people would be like, I don't know, what do you got? Whatever, and so you kind of have to like help them figure out that process. So yeah.
Yeah. I think as a younger me, which is really strange, as a younger person, Subway's usually like where you come in to start your working career. You possibly go and do different things. Um, but now, like older, I would love to like go and do a day every week working at Subway. I think that would be hilarious. Like you get to learn the regular people. They come in and you try and guess the sandwich. Or I turn things into a game. Like somebody come through the door and you're looking at them. You're like, you're a Italian BMT, but you don't want it on normal bread. It needs to be on this kind of bread.
Uh-huh.
And like, but
Now,
it's because I've spent years communicating, becoming more confident in just being able to be myself
yeah,
and open in front of people. So I think that's why I would go back and do that now because it'd be fun.
yeah, and to that note, one of my favorite experiences, I spent a year working at a grocery store called we have over here called Kroger. I don't know, do you have Kroger's over there? No, okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, probably not. I didn't think so. But so a grocery store called Kroger. It was my last year that I was at Salvation Army, and we needed to make a little bit extra money, so I took that job. Sean, that job was hilarious because I was in this position of like, I mean, do I need some extra money? Sure. Is this like the job that pays my bills? No. So you just like come in and you'd really be kind of just like free to just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, and you'd like watch people just like and I'd have fun talking to customers, and it was like a really good time, and I try to get them their thing and whatever. And I mean, I did good work. I didn't like slough off, but then also you would see these people coming in and be like, you'd be like, I don't know what to do. I mean, like the truck would get delivered, and they'd be like, "There's all these boxes," and I'm like, "No, we'll get through it. It's just a bunch of boxes. We just have to sort through them and then like put everything out." And it was just like, but people would be like, so like I'm like, it's okay. It's really not that big of a deal. We'll figure this out. And so it was just a lot of fun to just. It was almost freeing a little bit. Almost like it was like a poor man's rich person experience, you know, and you're just like, I don't really care about this. It's fine. It doesn't matter because I like this isn't my main job.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Which, yeah, I can understand why that'd be quite freeing and interesting.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I can't wait to be retired.
Yeah,
That's what I
right.
would
I
do.
know.
I would go and do like house is paid off, bills are reduced right down, I've got no kids to finance, I've got a good pension set behind me where I don't have to work. I'm just working because I don't want to sit in the house and become a vegetable all day. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and work in Subway. And then I will just if people come in and they want the sandwich, they get the sandwich. If there's other stuff to do, I'll do it. But it's like I don't need to be here. I want to be here.
Yeah,
So where I like work now, I kind of need to be there because if I don't feed people. So
dude. Maybe you'll be like the TikTok Subway grandpa. People will come in and you'll be like naming off their thing. You know, you'll be like, oh, you're definitely the classic trio on white bread with with provolone cheese. And you're like, how'd you
bro,
know? People just come in and do TikToks
I
of
am the
you while you prophesy
I
their
am the
sub.
sandwich master,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
the sandwich oracle.
Uh-huh. Oh, I love it. That's the best. Yeah. That's what's gonna happen right there.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I just I want to instill in the kids of the same ethic as me is that you don't have to like kill yourself for a decent job. You can if it takes you a while to find the thing that you want to do that you enjoy, then that's fine. But everything that you get into and you do, give it 100%. Always go and like, I'm not going to go down the whole Dwayne Johnson, be the hardest working guy in the room because I think that's ridiculous because you burn yourself out. But go, give it your all. If you are asked to do something, do it to the best of your ability. If you get stuck, ask. Always have a thirst for wanting to know more about the things that you do. Because at the end of the day, if you are going to go for another job, your manager has to be the one that gives you a reference. And the better they can make that reference, the more likely you are to be employed and taken seriously in your next job. So that's the only thing I want to instill is, always turn up on time, always do the best you can do, and you know, just be presentable and try and make a name for yourself as a person who works within that company rather than a problem. So
You kind of hit on at the end. The only other thing I would add to that, because I think it was like near perfect, is to just like, so like Noah brought home a report card today, or my kids brought home report cards. Noah was worried about his math score because it wasn't all that best. They go by numbers, which is really weird. I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah, they do over here now.
It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, whatever. And so his math score was low, but you know what was high? The whole section on his character was 4s, and like I didn't blink an eye. I was like, buddy, I can teach you how to do math all day long. I was like, that's fine. I was like, character. I was like, you're getting to an age now where like your character is kind of getting solidified. I was like, so not that anybody can't learn to have a better character, but like the fact that you got 4s on character, I was like, that's all I see. I was like, so we're cool. So that's the only other thing I want is like whatever job they do, everything you just said, to be a genuinely nice, like solid character human being. Add that to that.
Yeah. I hope you stick that report card on the fridge for you, because it reflects on you and Becca in terms of being parents.
Yeah.
You brought Noah up to be a to be a decent enough kid that he got 4s in everything and be polite and respectful. It's like Logan got Star of the Week last week,
Awesome.
and on the back of it, his teacher wrote like a note to him saying, which I'm assuming is what she would speak in the assembly, but how he's really caring and always picks up little jobs in the classroom to help people, and he's always like the first to try and help somebody understand something, and how he's so caring and kind and sensitive to other people's wants and needs and things like that. And I was taken aback by it. I would like, I gave him a high five and a cuddle for the Star of the Week, and then I read the thing on the back, and then like I said to him, I'm really proud of you. It's a really nice thing. You He's not got the Star of the Week off the back of doing amazing work or writing the best story or having the best handwriting or doing the best maths. He's got it on character.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I forgot to mention that actually. That's why you just saying with the real podcast, it just reminded me.
No, that's really awesome. Very cool. Good on him. So yeah, I mean, I can't think. I got nothing else. That was you wrapped it up pretty good.
Yeah, I hope if any of your kids listen to this with us, we excuse sometimes the little slips of language that we do throughout. It's all part of the English language, but we are a parenting podcast. But no, I hope if kids you have listened to this as well with your parents, like take a look at your parents. Look at do they come home from work and do they have to down a bottle of wine to kind of cheer themselves up from it, or do they come in from work and are they super happy and they want to crack on and do these things? And if they are the super happy kind of parent that come home from work and they seem like they've really enjoyed it, and they share funny stories that their co-workers have joked and done this and done that and done the other, that's where you want to get and ask them the honest question of, mom, dad, do you like your job? Why do you like your job? And how do I get to like where you are, where you'll like your job? Yeah, and parents, listen to this. Support the kids. Do things to support them. Be like Nick, who doesn't know how to bake buns and make icing, but bakes buns and makes icing because his daughter wants to be a baker.
True that. And then I eat too much buns with icing.
Don't I literally only ever go into the kitchen while Lindsay's baking stuff so I can lick the bowl before I wash it up. So,
love it.
I beat the kids there. But no. Yeah, thanks very much for listening anyway. That was our dad life episode for this week. We hope you have a great weekend. Take care, and we shall see you soon.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Crossing. We're here to remind you that this podcast is made by dads for dads. It's a place where all of us can come together, share a laugh, and tackle the wild ride that is fatherhood. If you want to keep the conversation going or just need a safe space to chat or ask for help, you are always welcome to reach out. You can find me, Sean, at Sean_Abbott, and you can find my good friend Nick at Nick10Do. And of course, give our social media platforms a good look over, because that is where we share all the updates, all the laughs, and all the things dad life. That is, everything is at Dad Crossing. For anything more, feel free to drop us a message at team@dadcrossing.com. And until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone on this journey. We'll see you in the next episode of Dad Crossing.